Hey guys, it's Lucia from emeraldstitchcraft. Welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. So we are on the last week of the Sirdar Crochet-along, which is bonkers. Absolutely insane. I remember being so excited when I found out about this and when I ordered it, and it was a birthday present from my husband and I was so excited, and then suddenly my birthday was here and I was like, oh my god, we get to start it. And now it's the end of August, we're on the final week, we're about to finish the blanket, and I'm like, excuse me 2025, could you pump the brakes a little bit please? Thank you. Insane. I am very excited for the burr month, not gonna lie, and it has been really overcast and kind of rainy and stuff yesterday and today, and I'm getting excited. Like I said before, I do love the summer, but I've had enough summer. I've had enough sweating. I've had enough constantly needing the door open for airflow. I've had enough sleeping with the fan on. I've had enough. I want to be cold. I want to wear my jumpers, god damn it. Like, I just want to be cozy. And I want to be able to use this blanket instead of being absolutely sweating when I'm trying to work on it. Because when I was piecing it all together, spoiler alert, I pieced it all together, I was sweating. I had it sitting on my lap and I was sweating. Like, this was only yesterday, because yesterday it started off so horrible and so rainy. Like, we both got up at like 7:30 and it was still practically nighttime. And then by 12 o'clock we were sweating and going for a walk, shorts and a t-shirt. So I was putting it all together. And yeah, I was sweating. So I'm looking forward to that being over. I'm going off on a tangent again about the weather. So very Irish of me. We will move on from the weather. Thank you, I hear you all say. And we are going to do a media wrap up. So the last time we talked, we had watched the Fear Street 1666. So after Fear Street, we watched Wreck, the Spanish found footage one, which is just a masterclass in found footage. Like, it is so tense. It's all done obviously from the perspective of, like, if you don't know, she is like a news reporter. She has her own like kind of show, and she's meant to be following these firefighters around for the night to kind of see what the firefighters do, and essentially it all just hits the fan. It goes off the rails and they're stuck inside this building and it's just terrifying. And so it has everything I love. It has found footage, so it's all done via her recording, like her cameraman is recording everything. It's close, like a single location, so they're just stuck in this apartment building. They cannot get out. And you just genuinely have no idea what's going on. Like, you're watching it, you're watching her talk to the camera and talk to the residents, and everybody is just like, what is actually happening? What's going on? The police won't tell us that, and like, you're right there with them. You're like, what? Oh my god, like, what is actually going on? Jesus. And yeah, it just has everything that you want, and it's just chaotic and it's suspenseful and it's just brilliant. It is such a good film. I absolutely love it. I know there is an American remake of it, which I haven't seen. I've heard it's just literally shot for shot. I won't watch that. I don't feel the need to watch it. But if anybody doesn't like having to read like subtitles or something like that, because obviously it's a Spanish horror film. I don't know if I actually mentioned that, but it is a Spanish horror film, so it is all subtitled. So you do have to watch it obviously with subtitles, unless you speak Spanish, in which case that would be pretty handy. But it's so good. And then after that, we watched the first Annabelle. I don't know why this is on my list. So I love Annabelle Creation. That's also on the list. We will get to that. And I don't know why, but for some reason, I had it in my head that I liked the first Annabelle. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad film. It's actually quite a good film. It's a good story. I think it could have been really good if the two main actors could act. They were really what brought it down, I think. Like, they're screaming, they're like worried about each other, they're screaming, worried about the baby, and I just don't really believe any of it. Like, I just don't think their acting is very good. The baby was a great actor. It's top-notch acting out of that one. But yeah, it's not a good movie, so I don't know why that was on the list, because then when I was watching it, and even my husband was sitting there going, babe, this is a bad film. And I'm like, I know, what happened? Like, I thought, why do I remember liking this? And then when I went to log it on Letterboxd, And you can see every time you've logged the film. The last time I logged it, I gave it 2.5. Then I'm like, where did I get that I liked this film? Because I didn't. But you know what? It meant I got a lot of crocheting done that day, so that was good. And then after we watched a film called Loop Track. So this is from 2023. It is by a New Zealand writer and director, and it's set in New Zealand. He's going on a hike on a track or trail called Loop Track. I kind of went into this, and my husband said the same. We both kind of went into it just kind of assuming it was going to be like wibbly wobbly time stuff because it's called Loop Track, and then the poster, which you'll have seen, has like the spiral. So we both kind of just maybe assumed there was going to be some sort of like time dilation stuff going on. That's not it. I don't want to say anything about this film because I really feel like you need to go into this blind. Like, you need to go into this not knowing what to expect, because I sure as shit did not know what to expect. I did not. I was not expecting what actually happened. So it is a little bit of a slow burn. Like, you do have to kind of stick with it. There were parts of it where I was feeling the duration, you know, but the main character, he's just weird. Like, he's just odd. And you don't know why he wants to go. You just know he wants to get some space. Like, whatever. He wants to go and get a bit of quiet. And then he meets a bunch of people, and they're all kind of weird. And you don't know what's real, what's not real. You don't know who to trust. You don't know what's going on. And then the last, like, 20 minutes, half an hour, you're just like, a baking powder? Like, it's crazy. It's amazing. It was so suspenseful and just so weird that it was just brilliant. Just so good. So definitely, if you have not heard of it or you just haven't seen it, definitely give it a watch and let me know what you think, because it's bizarre, but amazing bizarre. And then we watched 30 Days a Night. This is a really underrated vampire film. Yeah, I don't know why this film is overlooked a lot of the time, from what I can gather, but it's such a good vampire film. Like, they use the whole fact, like, it's based around a real life event, like the polar night, that they have a subsequent amount, in this case 30 days of nighttime, like the sun doesn't rise. And I don't know if that actually happens in this part of Alaska. Like, I don't know in regards to that, if that town is based on a real town that has whatever. But yeah, it's just really, really good. And it, again, it has that small space kind of feeling that I like. They're so secluded from the rest of the world, and they have no way of getting to anybody. And then once, like, the snow hits, like, that's it. You can't leave town. Like, there's whiteouts and everything like that. And these vampires are just using it to, like, pick people off. And the vampires are savage. Like, they are cold, you know. And I think they don't hold back with the stuff that they touch on. Like, they don't hold back with the kills, with, like, anything. And I just think it's such a good film. Like, there's like, it's really good acting, it's a really good setting, it's not too long, it's just good. And, like, Josh Hartnett's pretty good in it, which, let's be real, nobody is, you know, giving Josh Hartnett any Grammys or whatever awards are for acting. He's not being awarded them, so he's quite good in this. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been watching at the minute. I think tonight when my husband gets home from work, we might just put Ghostbusters on. Riddle me this. Would you guys class Ghostbusters as something that you watch during the, like, spooky season? Like, would you class that as, like, a spooky movie? Not a horror film, but like a spooky, like the way I have Hocus Pocus. It's not a horror, but it's a spooky movie, you know what I mean? Would you class Ghostbusters as that? For me, it's not set at Christmas, but Ghostbusters is a Christmas film just purely because it's always on telly at Christmas, and I always end up just, like, putting it on. But yeah, like, my husband would class Ghostbusters as, like, spooky fun, because there's ghosts, obviously. And obviously this is a list that we are both watching, so we both kind of had a couple of films that we were like, this needs to be on it. So would you guys be watching Ghostbusters at the spooky season, or is that just like a any time of the year film? I don't know. I'm divided. I love Ghostbusters, so obviously I am gonna watch it, but yeah, it felt a bit random when he suggested it, so But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Ghostbusters in the spooky season, yay or nay? Let me know. So for now, anyway, as I alluded to earlier, it's too big to get in the shot. I'm not even going to be able to try, but I put everything together. So it is all pieced together. It's all terribly exciting. Look. Yes! Spooky blanket. It's now big enough to actually wear as a blanket. Now we're on to the last hurdle of the giant border around the entire thing. And I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to be a bit of a slog because it's gigantic. But what do I always say? It is what it is. So we gotta do it. But all I will say is light a candle for my wrists. Yeah, get your nanny to light a candle for my body. Because this is gonna hurt. And also, I suppose, just to touch on that, I've had a few people kind of mention the fact that I'm sometimes wearing like wrist brace. I do have these rings on, that kind of thing. So I finally recently got a HSD diagnosis, so it's hypermobility spectrum disorder, and chronic pain syndrome. So that is basically, sometimes my joints will just get really, really sore if I'm kind of overusing them, or if I'm like, because I'm going back to the gym now as well, sometimes like bending them, I'm trying to figure out how to bend my body without overextending when I'm trying to do like compound movements, targeted movements, that kind of thing. So that is why I'm wearing like, I'll sometimes be wearing like my wrist strap or my the full gloves, like the arthritis gloves, and because I do just unfortunately deal with chronic pain, and then the hypermobility, they just go hand in hand together. So that is why, in case anybody has ever wondered why I'm sometimes wearing them and I'm sometimes not, because sometimes the pain is just too bad that I need to brace them, and then sometimes I can kind of get by. So that is why. And thank you all for any concerns, any advice, anything like that. It's really, really sweet. It means an awful lot to me that anybody outside like my little bubble would even care as to why I'm doing these things, wearing these things, whatever. It's a really special feeling to know that people care. So thank you so much. Okay, so that is essentially, I think, all the updates that I had to give. Can't ramble any longer. Time to actually just start the big border. Let's go. Okay, so it's been a few days. You're not gonna know because obviously this just goes clip, clip, clip. Yeah, I basically just like took the entire weekend off. Yeah, the fatigue just really kicked my ass. And then because I had just felt so crappy on the Saturday, I just wanted to take the Sunday off as well. So I did. My husband made some meatballs from scratch, and we watched a film, and we just had a bottle of wine, and it was just so lovely. It was just exactly what I needed. I love a Sunday. Sundays are my favorite day of the week. They are the day where you can just do nothing. Like, sure, didn't the Lord himself say that you're just supposed to rest on a Sunday, you know? I don't believe in anything else to do with that guy, but his views on Sundays, I believe in his views on Sundays. With the food, we got a bottle of wine, and I'm going to put a picture here so you can kind of see. So it's the 19 Crimes red wine. It's a lovely red wine, but this is their Halloween special. And my husband got it because it's a Halloween special, obviously, and it glows in the dark. I just also want to point out my wine glass is from Kettler's Inn down in Kilkenny, so it's something I can delve into more, but basically Alice Kettler was the first woman in Ireland, and I believe pretty much all of Europe, to have been accused of witchcraft long before the Salem witch trials. So she was one of the first women. We are one of the first places that someone was accused of witchcraft, and she fled the country, and it is believed that she turned up in York, and then every record of her disappeared. So I will very gladly do a little video on Alice Kettler, because I just think it's such a cool story, and like the fact that it's before all of the Salem witch trials, and it's just kind of not known, which is crazy. Yeah, so if anybody wants any more information on that, I can talk about that a little bit more. And the whole wine bottle, the whole reason I was talking about this is with the wine bottle, it glows in the dark, and it's so cool. So here's a picture of it glowing up, so the face then becomes like an entire skull in a hood, and I just thought that was super cool, and so I wanted to share that with you guys. So this morning now, I have decided before I get started on the next row of crocheting, I am going to get the little webs done that go around the side. But you have to do 4 strips, and 2 of them have 7 cobwebs and 2 of them have 6 cobwebs. So I feel like that's going to take a while. So what I might do is I'm going to work on those first, so that when I finish all the crocheting from this, I can just go straight to attaching them and then do the big reveal, which, like, it might seem a bit silly and possibly cringy, I don't know, but I'm very excited to do the big unrolling of the blanket like you always see people doing, because I've never done that before. I've never gotten to do that before. I've only ever made like one small lap blanket for my my grandfather for Christmas, and like he didn't care if I stood there and unraveled it, obviously. But for now, like I said, we're gonna get started on the cobwebs. Yes, so let's go. Okie dokie, we're done. So I did the one that has 6. So it looks a little bit stingy when you just see it hanging this way. But I'm kind of hoping that once it's on the blanket, they'll kind of be like hooked, that they'll sit a bit more like that. I thought the 5-chain picot was a bit I mean, I suppose it's bigger, like it's more noticeable, but yeah, I think they look kind of cute. Like I said, like if you just hold it like this, it looks a bit naff, but it will look better when it's like stretched and in place on the actual blanket. And of course, off screen, Art Attack style, here's some I prepared earlier. I made the rest of them. So they're all, basically I have left a massive tail, a massive tail for whip stitching, for like attaching. So they're all done. So now that is all of the cobwebs done. Took a little bit longer than I was expecting. I showed it in one of the clips, but I kept forgetting when I got to this last row the amount of times I would just skip just even one of these, because it's like you chain 7, do your triple, and then chain 5, slip into 1, chain 7, do your triple, and I just kept chain 7, triple, chain 7, triple, and the amount of times I would forget to do the little picot thing, and I had to go back, so that kind of took me a little bit longer, and then I just kept getting distracted. Not gonna lie, this was one of those days. I kept getting distracted by YouTube as well. I recently found, I don't know how it took me this long to find her, but I recently found the Green Witch on YouTube, and I've been sort of binging her videos on herbal magic, because herbalism is something that I'm really interested in, so I've been kind of watching a lot of her videos, and then she has a vlog channel, and I've just been watching a load of that. So anyway, it's time to get started on row 2 of this. This is where the actual little kind of pumpkin stitches come in, so that's going to be pretty cute. I can't wait to see how they work up. I'm hoping that it's not going to feel as long. I think maybe it was just because these were double crochets, and like I said, it involved a lot of counting. It felt like this took forever. So I'm hoping that because I'm going to have like some kind of color changes and stuff with the pumpkins, and obviously I love pumpkins, I'm hoping that it'll not feel as long, and I can get a good chunk done today. So let's go. Okay, I had to pause it and look up how she was actually doing this, because I got pretty confused when it said leave the light grey mix on your hook, join your clementine, and then draw through the clementine and the light grey. I was like, what way is she changing her colours? Like, what way is she doing this? So I had to look up the YouTube video to figure out how she means. And it's a bit odd. I've never done them that way, but I will just go with the flow. We'll just see what happens. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, the one thing I'm having such trouble with is when she says to leave, I'll try and zoom this in a bit, focus on this, says to leave your grey on the hook and just like let it drop, which is the first thing I'm finding hard to do, basically. And then just sort of keep the orange on the hook, and it's so, every time I do it I keep doing this, and I have to keep stopping to remind myself that's not what you're supposed to do. It goes against like everything I feel like I have ever learned. It, like, in my brain it's just like, no can do, like that's not how you change colours, like that's incorrect, what are you doing? So having a bit of trouble with that. And then once I get to, oh, and then I drop it. No, when I get to the end though, I'm normally fine. So, but yeah, having a spot of bother with that now, I have to say. So let's just keep going. Okay, all the pumpkin baubles, all the pumpkins are done. That took me an exceptionally long time, and I feel like I'm a little bit bog-eyed now from just fully staring at these. My hands are also a little cramped, so I think my goal of wanting to start the stems today and just only doing the single crochets tomorrow, I feel like that's not going to happen. I vastly underestimated how long these pumpkins were going to take. Like, there's 40 pumpkins top and bottom, and then 45 pumpkins left and right, plus all of the set of 3 double crochets in between each. I thought it would just be like oh, that'd be so quick, I'll just sit here and do that. Absolutely not. That took a very long time. So I'm going to take a bit of a break. I don't imagine I'm going to get to the stems today, but if I do, I will record, obviously, anything that I do, and if not, I will check back in tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. Same t-shirt, different day, I swear. So you last saw that I had finished the pumpkin row. So yeah, I have to do the row that includes the green stem now to finish off the pumpkins, and then I think it's just a row of single crochets. So I'm hoping that won't take as long today, because the puff stitches obviously take a bit of time, because you have to like wrap over 7 times, like you hook over, insert, pull up, hook over, whatever. And then also I did, like I said in one of the clips, I did make a mistake at the start of one of the rows, so I had to go back an entire row. Very frustrating, but it happens. Nothing I can do about it. So yeah, it is starting to take proper shape. And now that I know how big this blanket actually is and how long it can take me, I feel like I'm going to be less bamboozled. I don't know. Less surprised when I look up at the clock and suddenly it's 3 hours later. So yeah, it's not going to get done if I keep just sitting here waffling. So let's get to it. if anyone else has found this really tripping them up, but because you have to yarn over with the green in order to do the little green stitch and then you yarn over again with the grey, I keep doing that, and then because I've yarned over once with the green, I keep going to yarn over with the grey, and so I end up doing a double crochet and then having to be like, oh no, just I don't yarn over, and having to do a regular single crochet with the grey. I don't know if I even was able to capture properly in any of the clips I took, but it's the one thing that keeps tripping me up with this and is making me go so slow that I have to keep being like, it feels like a double crochet for the green, but it's not, and the grey right after is a single crochet, not a double crochet. So that keeps tripping me up, and I reckon that's what's going to make this feel like it's taking longer, because I keep making that little silly mistake and having to pull that stitch back out, and like it's such a simple thing, but my brain keeps going, you yarned over to do that green, so that's a double crochet, so the grey is a double crochet as well, yarn over, and I don't have to yarn over, and it's going to keep tripping me up. So if anyone else is in the same boat with this, I feel your pain, because I'm getting annoyed with myself that I keep making the same mistake. Anyway, back to it. So I finished the entire border. Where am I going with this? Finished the whole border. I even just did the row of single crochets because that's pretty boring to record or anything like that. It's just single crochets around. So some of my pumpkins, I did them way too loose and they stick out and it's bothering me. It's not bothering me nearly enough to warrant changing it, but it's something I think you won't even notice. But yeah. So I finished all of the pumpkins and then the little stems. I'll show you up close. So that's what they look like. It is pretty cute. Like, come on. It is pretty adorable. So all that's left now is to attach the spider webs. And then I'm going to be done. And I don't know why I'm so sad about that. It's so strange. I think I'm just like, for any and all complaining that I did, I have thoroughly enjoyed this series. It's been really nice. And it's so cool to see everything now put together and just be like, I made this. I did this. This entire blanket, me. Thank you. Thank you very much. So it's been pretty cool. And it's just been nice to not have to worry about what to film. I know what I have to film. Now I'm like thrown out there and I have to think of ideas again. So no, but I have really, really enjoyed it. So I'm going to go and attach all of the cobwebs and then I will see you again for the big reveal. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get it finished today. My husband's off at 2 and then we've got a couple of errands to run and I have to go to the gym. And then it's Bake Off tonight, so I'm going to be busy tonight. Anyone else a Bake Off fan? Are we excited? I think the contestants are all pretty cool. So I was reading their little biographies that Bake Off posts and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool. And this year has the highest number of contestants who are part of the LGBTQ community, so I think that's pretty cool as well. So yeah, I'm excited for Bake Off, so I'm going to start with this anyway, attaching the spider webs. I just think it's going to take a little bit longer because having to like space it out to make sure. That's kind of what took me the longest with these, was making sure that I had like I had the stitches right, so like I would pin them together and then I would say count 10, pin like stitch marker, count 10, stitch marker, to make sure I was like on track and stuff like that. So I'm probably gonna have to do the same with the cobwebs or spider webs, just especially for the side panel, it's so long. So yeah, I'm gonna get started on that and then it'll be the big reveal. We all know what the blanket already looks like. I'm just ridiculously excited to do the little blanket roll reveal. I don't know why I've built it up to be a massive thing in my head, but look, I'm excited, so it is what it is. Yeah, so let's get started. funny. It goes against everything in my body from what I have learned to have such a long thread for sewing it together. Because when I obviously like taught myself kind of the basics of sewing, like actual like hand sewing. But then I went to college for it, and I always remember our tutor, Leonore. She would always give out if she saw anyone, if they were sewing and they went like this with their arm, that she would go fucking crazy. And it's for this reason. I couldn't have timed this better if I wanted. She hated seeing anybody using she hated seeing anyone using really long thread, because she was like, you're asking for it to get knotted, you're not gonna have even work. So she was like, if I see any hands in the air with thread, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna cut that yarn or cut that thread. And so now, having such a long thread and having to be like and like pulling, I can just literally imagine Eleanor coming over and just going right at the long bit of fabric or thread. What am I even trying to say? Yeah, at the long bit of thread. She would have hated that. So every now and again when I have to sit here and do this, I think, God, what would Eleanor think? Yeah, 16 years later, and I'm still remembering Eleanor. Or Leonore, sorry, and what she said. Have I been calling her Eleanor this whole time? Her name is Leonore. So there you go, more random life tidbits with Lucy. I don't know why I share these little factoids with you, but I do, and I hope you enjoy them. Anyway, back to sewing. To jump on, I am in the middle of putting together the cobwebs onto the blanket, and I realized I had put this on the wrong side, and as I was trying to unravel it, I somehow managed to unravel the starting chain. So you've all probably seen the pattern by now, that you do the chain of 22 to start, and then you kind of work into that chain to make the cobwebs, and I somehow undid the chain from this bit. So this should have a chain. This is so hard to show one-handed, I apologize. That should be a chain going all the way across there with this connected to it. And as I was trying to take this off of the blanket, I undid this bit of chain. I took it out of this, off the blanket, and unraveled it. I couldn't have even done that if I tried. If I really tried, I wouldn't have been able to figure that out. But I did it. So, don't know how I'm going to fix that. But there we are. I just thought I had to show everybody what I managed to do, because I thought it was absolutely insane. I didn't realise that it was till it was too late what I had actually done. So, anyway, just thought I'd show you. We're done. So, I did do my little grand reveal as best as I could. A tiny house and recording by yourself. And to be honest, being only like 5'2", it's pretty hard to do a full blanket reveal. But I did the best that I could. So without further ado, the big reveal. I put in that little clip that I took last night of me and my somehow unraveling of a chain that has already been worked into the buckle. I don't know how I did that. See, this exact reason is why I was unsure about putting the cobwebs in. Just me holding this, my fingers keep getting stuck, and I reckon they are gonna probably get pulled out of shape and stuff, but you know what, it's cute. I have yet to decide if I'm gonna keep this, donate it, sell it, I'm not sure. Just purely because I don't know where to put it. Like, I already have a blanket that I use. So I have one blanket that I got it in Home Sense a couple of years ago, part of their Halloween stuff. And it's a great blanket. It's perfect enough. And then my husband has a burrito blanket that I got him for Christmas a couple of years ago. So like we're covered in regards to blankets. There's only the two of us. I'm not someone that has a bunch of excess stuff, kind of because I don't have space for it. And then also I don't like accumulating lots of stuff. Like if I had a spare room or a second couch, I would gladly keep this and have a throne on it for the spooky season, but I don't have the space. So I don't know whether to keep it just even for this Halloween season. I don't know whether to just donate it to charity, something like that. Would anybody be interested in buying it if I did put it up on my Etsy, say, something like that? Yeah, I don't know what to do with it yet. So, but at the minute, I'm just so excited that I finished it. I'm so excited that it's so silly and spooky, and it's just like obnoxiously Halloween, all the bright colors and everything. So, yeah, I'm delighted that I did it. So I suppose I just kind of want to talk about like the pros and cons, or what I liked, what I didn't like, you know, that kind of thing about this whole process. First of all, like obviously the biggest thing that I love is that it has introduced me to all of you guys on the internet. I'm absolutely blown away by how nice and considerate and welcoming and super spooky that you guys are. That has been the best thing to come out of this. Like honestly, I did not expect it. It was an incredibly pleasant surprise, and I already have a good few people on here. They comment all the time. We're always chit-chatting back and forth, and I get really excited to see their comments when I post a video or anything like that. So that has been the biggest takeaway of this from me. I obviously love that it's Halloween. I think a crochet-along for the Halloween season is just something that you don't see an awful lot of places doing. I think when it gets to this time of year, people tend to just want to skip Halloween and go straight to Christmas. And like, don't get me wrong, I do love Christmas. Like, I absolutely love Christmas. But I love Halloween. And so I really liked that we had this crochet along. We had this kind of thing to do, that it wasn't just, yeah, okay, Halloween is here, I guess, but let's like just skip this stuff and go straight to Christmas Town. So I did really enjoy that. It was a really nice, pleasant surprise, and because I had seen the summer crochet-alongs from Sirdar, and I was like, that kind of makes sense, you know, Christmas summer blankets, like you want to bring them out, you go for a picnic, that kind of thing. It'd be so cute. Like that's a summer thing. So yeah, like the summer blanket crochet-along things made sense. That was the only ones I'd seen, so I don't know if this Halloween one is new, like if they've never done one, or if it just wasn't on my radar. Maybe I wasn't like as deep into the crochet community the last couple of years because I was only new. Maybe that's why, I don't know. But I was pleasantly surprised. I like that they decided to do the patterns weekly, because it kind of made it feel like you are part of something to do it weekly. So the only thing that I would, if they ever somehow saw this video, my suggestion would be to make it a little bit longer. So like, I'm always looking for silver linings. You'll see, I'm always like trying to just be like, no, I get it, like it's fine, whatever. But like I do get, I suppose, why it was started now, so that you would have this blanket for the spooky season type thing. It could have benefited from being maybe like 8 to 10 weeks rather than just the 6 weeks. One, so it would last a little bit longer. Maybe that's just me being greedy. And then two, for anyone that's not doing it, when you do start this, they encourage you to join the Facebook group. And the one thing I noticed from the Facebook group is that there was a ton of people being like, oh my god, like week 6 is starting, or week 4 is starting, and I'm still only finishing week 1, or I'm still stuck on week 2, like I'm having an awful lot of trouble, blah blah blah. For instance, week 2 was 18 granny squares in a week, which doesn't really sound like, it doesn't necessarily sound like an awful lot of work, but it is a ton of work. And so even with having so much free time, that amount of crocheting, I still ended up injuring myself trying to get it done. It's fully on me. I did leave a chunk of the work for one solid day, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I thought maybe it was a ton of work. Going into then week 3, I think was this bit here, the was it witches warts and tights or whatever they called it, as well as the embroidery for the faces. And the one thing I noticed a lot in the Facebook group was, oh my god, like week 4 is here and I'm still only catching up for week 2, and oh my god, like week 5 is out and I'm still only starting week 3. And it's, you don't have to do it weekly. It's not like no one's holding a gun to your head. Like, you don't have to do it, but there is this perceived, or this like encouraged, suggested kind of, here's week 2, do this for week 2, and then you'll be ready for week 3, and then here's week 3. And people work at different levels. People have different levels of commitment, different hours in their works, different lifestyles. So some people can commit to working really fast and kind of going at it, and then like they're not dealing, they don't have carpal tunnel, they don't have any pain issues, they're not sick, they're not nothing, so they can just go working straight ahead. And then there are some people who like might work a little bit slower, or they have a full-time job and kids, or they have a full-time job and they're in college, or whatever it is. And then there's people, like a ton of people I have come across saying like with their carpal tunnel they can't crochet for very long because it really affects them. So, and I know you'll never please everybody, like never. But I think if they had have maybe even done like, say, week 2 was just like the side granny squares with the embroidery, and then the next week was the bottom granny squares and the embroidery, and then the next week would be the 4 panels, and you can join them and just sort of break it up a little bit better. That I think it might have made a lot of people feel less stressed about the whole situation. And then just like selfishly, it would have made the process last a little bit longer, because like I'm honestly sad that this is over. So like little things like that, I think it could have been a little bit better. So I really am trying to remain positive about this, because all in all I thought this was very good. I thought the design was very good. The way that they have it laid out was really good. The instructions were pretty straightforward. Like, I really appreciate that there was UK and US terms. That's catering for everybody and what they kind of know. So there is a ton more positives than there is negatives. Like, I 100% fully enjoyed this, and even the bits that I'm mentioning could be better, they're not, like, I say negative, but they're not faults. Like, they're not things that I hated or didn't enjoy. They're just, I'd say, for like future crochet-alongs and stuff, maybe it could be done a little bit better. Now, I'm under no illusions that Sirdar is going to come across these videos and think, yeah, this random Irish girl has great ideas, let's implement them. But just from my point of view, I think it could have been spaced out a little bit better. And then even the tapestry piece, getting a tapestry done in a week, some people have never done tapestries, and so it's a whole new ball game, like learning your tension and your color changing. And there's not even just like my first ever tapestry piece was just 2 colors. Like, that was it. It was grey and it was black. And even then I was like, what do I do? Like, carrying, like, do I carry the floats? Like, do I chop it? Do I make like bobbins? Like, you know, there's so much to learn. And then you have to worry about even that, like, when you're changing colours, like I showed with mine, even still to this day, like, this is like my 5th or 6th tapestry piece, I still get that curve where my colour changes are tighter than the rest of my piece. So I think maybe that could have even been broken up into 2 pieces, or even if it was just, if it came out every 2 weeks rather than every week, that kind of thing, just to give people a little bit more time and to maybe take some of the pressure off. Like, as I've said, there's no reason. You don't have to get this finished. Like, nobody is forcing you to do anything. Nobody is saying, well, you have to get week 1 done before you start week 2. Like, sure, there's people in the Sirdar Crochet-along group chat, because it's a group chat for all of the crochet-alongs. It's not just the Halloween one. There was some people in the Halloween one, or around the time of the Halloween one, saying that they're only just finishing their summer one or their spring one, you know. So, like, there is no deadlines. Like, there is no, you need to get this done. Like, it's not regimented. But you can't help but feel a little bit of pressure when some people are posting being like, oh, I'm done with this part and I'm, you know, blah blah. And some people are like, oh, like, wow, that's great, like, I'm still on week 2. So yeah, just to make it, I suppose, a little bit easier on people, I think it would have been nicer to just have it spaced out a little bit better. Apart from that, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it turned out really cute. I like all the color choices. Like, I really do love it, and I have loved this crochet along, this journey. I have loved sharing it and making videos about it and chatting about it, and I have especially loved seeing people in the Facebook chat, like, pure ad-libbing it. You know, like, they were kind of going, okay, I like that's the 4 big granny squares and then the little ones and the tapestry piece, and they just took that basic construction layout and just ran with it. Like, there are some really interesting blankets that have been made and posted into the Facebook group, so that was really, really cool. I love seeing people's creativity with it and everything, and I love seeing how much fun people were having with it and how it kind of brought a ton of spooky people together. I have to say, I obviously love that, you know, so there was a ton that I loved about it, and I loved it more than I had any problems with it. So that would be my 2 cents on the whole process. Comment down below. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you not agree? Like, how did you find the whole process? Are you finished now? Like, did you get it done? Did you do everything? Did you do the spider webs? Like, I know I've seen a few people who haven't done this purely for the same reasons that I said, that one, like, unless it's lying flat, they're not terribly noticeable, and then 2, like, you're just gonna catch this on things, like, especially people with kids or with cats or even some dogs, like, so that's, I've seen a lot of people saying they're not including the spider webs for that because it looks really good when it's flat, but practically not really the best design. So yeah, comment down below, what did you think? Give me your thoughts, give me your ideas, that kind of thing. So then I suppose in regards to future videos, I have asked in previous ones what kind of videos were you thinking of, what would you like to see. A ton of people were really interested in the Glasnevin graveyard, which I'm delighted about because I will take any excuse to go and walk around that graveyard and learn more about it. I was actually driving past it yesterday, bringing up my grampy into his hospital appointment, and he is a wealth of knowledge. He's 85, so he's been around, and he is such a wealth of knowledge. Like, we just drove past it, we were driving past it, and he just starts spewing out all these stories. So I'm immediately, like, my husband was driving, I was in the passenger seat. I immediately was like, I took out my phone and I was whipping down loads of notes about what he was saying to try and, like, remember and do a bit more research into. So I will very gladly make a little video about that, especially coming into the spooky season. It could be a nice spooky video. A ton of people were interested in what I meant when I say I'm a practicing witch, so that will definitely be a video just to kind of talk about what being a witch means to me and how my practice looks and how it can differ from person to person and everyone's different kind of beliefs, practices, specializations, that kind of thing. So I will definitely do a video on that. I am in the process of market prepping for 2 markets, so busy. One of which is, the first one that's coming up, the theme for it is Witch's Lair. So I am doing kind of a few more, like, slightly witchy themed pieces. So I'm thinking I might try and combine what it means for me to be a witch while I prep for a witchy market and kind of take you along on that ride. Even if I don't record the market prep, I will be doing a what witchcraft means to me type video. So expect that. And then the end of September, actually the 21st, if you know the song, will be my 1 year on YouTube. And it really feels like, even though I've been on for a year coming up, that my proper YouTube experience has only really started with this crochet along. So I probably will do a little video just to kind of commemorate. I seen actually that Jack in the Attic, Jack in the Attic did her video on a week or a year on YouTube, and her video was basically just like, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want for this video while I chat about my year on YouTube. And so I might even just do something like that. If anybody has any questions about that I want to answer, you can ask personal questions. If I feel like it's too personal, I just won't answer. So any and all questions that you might have about YouTube, about me, about, I don't know, my life, my hobbies, my history, my husband, whatever, my dog, anything like that, being Irish, whatever. If anybody has any questions, just leave them down below, and any questions I do get, I will probably answer in that video. So I do have a couple of videos, like video ideas, kind of ruminating, coming up to the spooky season. Like, this is my time to shine, especially craft-wise. It's like something it just comes alive this time of year. So again, thank you for following along this crochet along. I hope you all had fun watching it. I certainly had fun making it. If anyone is behind, don't worry about it. Like I said, I've said out time and time again, this is a fun project. It's supposed to just be something that we're all doing to enjoy the spooky season, the lead up to the spooky season, all that kind of jazz. So don't worry about it. Okay. I'm sick of hearing my own voice, so I'm gonna leg it. So I won't keep you any longer. I'll let you go, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!